There are several other objects in a database in addition to tables. With views, you can present and hide data from the tables. Many applications require the use of unique numbers as primary key values. You can either build code into the application to handle this requirement or use a sequence to generate unique numbers. If you want to improve the performance of data retrieval queries, you should consider creating an index. You can also use indexes to enforce uniqueness on a column or a collection of columns. You can provide alternative names for objects by using synonyms. You can present logical subsets or combinations of data by creating views of tables. A view is a schema object, a stored select statement based on a table or another view. A view contains no data of its own, but is like a window through which data from tables can be viewed or changed. The tables on which a view is based are called base tables. The view is stored as a select statement in the data dictionary. Advantages of views. Views restrict access to the data because they display selected columns from the table. Views can be used to make simple queries to retrieve the results of complicated queries. For example, views can be used to query information from multiple tables without the user knowing how to write a join statement. Views provide data independence for ad hoc users and application programs. One view can be used to retrieve data from several tables. Views provide groups of users access to data according to their particular criteria. There are two classifications for views, simple and complex. The basic difference is related to the DML, insert, update, and delete operations. A simple view is one that derives data from only one table, contains no functions or groups of data, can perform DML operations through the view. A complex view is one that derives data from many tables, contains functions or groups of data, does not always allow DML operations through the view. You can create a view by embedding a subquery in the create view statement. In the syntax, or replace recreates the view if it already exists. You can use this clause to change the definition of an existing view without dropping, recreating, and regranting object privileges previously granted on it. Force creates the view regardless of whether or not the base tables exist. NOFORCE creates the view only if the base tables exist. This is the default. View is the name of the view. Alias specifies names for the expressions selected by the view's query. The number of aliases must match the number of expressions selected by the view. Subquery is a complete select statement. You can use aliases for the columns in the select list. With check option specifies that only those rows that are accessible to the view can be inserted or updated. Constraint is the name assigned to the check option constraint. With read only ensures that no DML operations can be performed on this view. The example in the slide creates a view that contains the employee number, last name, and salary for each employee in Department 80. You can control the column names by including column aliases in the subquery. The example in the slide creates a view containing the employee number, employee_ID, with the alias ID_number, name, last_name, with the alias name, and annual salary, salary, with the alias an_salary for every employee in Department 50. Alternatively, you can use an alias after the create statement and before the select subquery. The number of aliases listed must match the number of expressions selected in the subquery. You can retrieve data from a view as you would from any table. You can display either the contents of the entire view or just specific rows and columns. With the OR replace option, a view can be created even if one exists with this name already, thus replacing the old version of the view for its owner. This means that the view can be altered without dropping, recreating, and regranting object privileges. The example in the slide creates a complex view of department names, minimum salaries, maximum salaries, and the average salaries by department. Note that alternative names have been specified for the view. This is a requirement if any column of the view is derived from a function or an expression. After your view is created, you can query the data dictionary view called user_views to see the name of the view and the view definition. The text of the select statement that constitutes your view is stored in a long column. The length column is the number of characters in the select statement. By default, when you select from a long column, only the first 80 characters of the column's value are displayed. You can perform DML operations on data through a view if those operations follow certain rules. You can remove a row from a view unless it contains any of the following: group functions, a group by clause, the distinct keyword, the pseudo-column Ronem keyword, You can modify data through a view unless it contains any of the conditions mentioned in the previous slide or columns defined by expressions, for example, salary *12. You can add data through a view unless it contains any of the items listed in the slide. You cannot add data to a view if the view contains not null columns without default values in the base table. All the required values must be present in the view. Remember that you are adding values directly to the underlying table through the view. It is possible to perform referential integrity checks through views. You can also enforce constraints at the database level. The view can be used to protect data integrity, but the use is very limited. The with check option clause specifies that inserts and updates performed through the view cannot create rows that the view cannot select. Therefore, it enables integrity constraints and data validation checks to be enforced on data being inserted or updated. If there is an attempt to perform DML operations on rows that the view has not selected, an error is displayed, along with the constraint name if that has been specified. You can ensure that no DML operations occur on your view by creating it with the with read-only option. The example in the next slide modifies the EMPVU10 view to prevent any DML operations on the view. Any attempt to remove a row from a view with a read-only constraint results in an error. Delete from EMPVU10. Where employee_number equals 200. Similarly, any attempt to insert a row or modify a row using the view with a read-only constraint results in the same error. You use the drop view statement to remove a view. The statement removes the view definition from the database. However, dropping views has no effect on the tables on which the view was based. Alternatively, views or other applications based on the deleted views become invalid. Only the creator or a user with the drop any view privilege can remove a view. In the syntax, view is the name of the view.